One kind of eel lives over a mile below the ocean's surface in water that has never once seen sunlight. It has no working eyes at all. Not weak eyes, not small eyes. In some of these eels, the eyes are so reduced they are barely there anymore, tucked under a thin layer of skin, doing almost nothing at all. This seems like a strange way to live. Eyes help animals find food. Eyes help animals spot danger before it gets too close. Losing your eyes sounds like losing a huge advantage. So why would any animal end up without them? Most people would guess this must be some kind of accident, or maybe damage caused by living in such a harsh, dark place. Maybe deep, cold water somehow hurts the eyes over time, the same way too much sun can hurt human skin. But that guess is wrong. This eel is not born with healthy eyes that later get damaged. It is born this way from the very start, and so were its parents and their parents before them. This did not happen by accident to just one unlucky eel. It happened slowly over a very long time to the entire group. Here is the real reason. Eyes are expensive for a body to build and take care of. Growing an eye takes energy. Keeping an eye working properly, day after day, also takes a steady supply of energy. In a place with sunlight, that energy cost is worth it because eyes bring back something valuable in return: the ability to see food, danger, and other animals nearby. Think about it a little like paying for a phone plan you never use. If you pay every single month for something you get real value from, that cost feels worth it. But if you keep paying that same amount for something that gives you nothing back month after month, that cost becomes pure waste. An eye works in a very similar way inside a living body. It needs a steady supply of energy just to stay alive and connected to the brain, whether or not it is actually being useful. But in a place with zero light at all, not even the faintest hint of light, ever, eyes cannot do their job anymore. There is nothing to see. No amount of light-catching power inside an eye can create an image out of complete darkness. So an eel living down there is paying the full cost of building and running eyes, while getting nothing useful back in return. Over many, many generations, this creates a small but steady advantage for eels born with weaker eyes. An eel that spends less energy building eyes it cannot really use has a little more energy left over for other things, like growing, or finding food, or making more baby eels. Slowly, generation after generation, eels with smaller, weaker eyes tend to do slightly better than eels with fully working ones, simply because they are not wasting energy on something useless. Over a very long time, this small advantage adds up until the eyes shrink down to almost nothing at all. This kind of change does not happen quickly, and it does not happen to just one single eel during its own lifetime. No eel decides to stop growing eyes on purpose. Instead, this shift happens slowly across thousands of generations as eels with slightly smaller eyes quietly out-survive and out-reproduce eels with slightly bigger ones again and again over an extremely long stretch of time. Eventually, after enough generations pass, working eyes disappear almost completely from the entire group. This matters because it shows something important about how evolution actually works. Evolution does not just add helpful new parts to a body. It can also remove parts that stop being helpful, especially if those parts still cost energy to keep around. Losing something is not always a weakness. Sometimes losing the right thing is actually a smart trade. Of course, losing your eyes only makes sense if something else steps in to help. And in this eel, other senses grow stronger to fill that gap. Many of these eels have an extremely sensitive sense of smell, able to pick up tiny traces of food from far away in the water. Some also have a special sense running along their body, letting them feel tiny changes and movements in the water around them, almost like feeling a ripple before it fully reaches you. Between smell and feeling the water move, this eel can still find food and sense nearby danger without ever needing to actually see anything at all. This trade feels a little like closing your eyes in a noisy room and suddenly noticing sounds you had not paid attention to before. When one sense stops carrying useful information, the body often leans much harder on whichever senses are still working. Over many generations, that extra reliance seems to help push those other senses to become even sharper than they might otherwise need to be, since they are now doing nearly all the important work by themselves. This same pattern, losing eyes in a place with zero light, shows up in other animals too, in completely different parts of the world. Certain fish, living deep inside dark caves, far from any ocean at all, have also lost most or all of their eyesight over many generations. These cavefish live nowhere near this eel and are not closely related to it at all. Yet both ended up following the exact same basic pattern, because both were solving the exact same basic problem, keeping expensive, useless eyes in a place where light simply never reaches. This is a powerful clue about how strong this particular pattern really is. When two completely different kinds of animals living in two completely different places end up solving the exact same problem in nearly the exact same way, without ever meeting or influencing each other, it usually means the solution is not random at all. It means the pressure to save energy in a lightless world is strong enough that life keeps arriving at the very same answer, again and again, no matter where that darkness happens to be found. Zooming out, this whole story challenges the idea that evolution always means gaining new abilities. Sometimes, the smartest change a species can make is giving something up. A body that stops wasting energy on a part it cannot use has more energy left over for the parts that actually matter, like finding food, staying safe, and reproducing successfully in a place built almost entirely out of darkness. So somewhere far below the surface of the ocean, in water so dark it has been that way since long before any land animal ever existed, this quiet, eyeless eel moves slowly and carefully through the black water. It cannot see the rocks around it. It cannot see the shapes drifting nearby. But it does not need to. It simply feels its way forward, one gentle ripple at a time, perfectly at home in a world built completely without light.